independent, strong, and powerful. I just think he sees me differently now.
Idris Elba is often talked about like a movie star, but not enough like an actor. Beyond the blockbusters and the obvious roles, there's a run of performances that flew under the radar, and honestly, they shouldn't have. Today we're talking about 5 underrated movies starring Idris Elba, films where he delivers depth, restraint, and power without needing spectacle. If you think you've already seen his best work, watch these next.
You still can't say it, can you? You must.
Sometimes in April is an HBO film that examines the aftermath of the Rwandan genocide, not through spectacle, but through memory, loss, and accountability. The story moves between the past and present, showing how violence fractures families and leaves wounds that never fully heal. It's a heavy film by design, and it requires performances that can carry that weight without exploiting it. Idris Elba plays Augustin Muganza, a man forced to live with the consequences of survival. This performance is stripped of bravado. There are no speeches meant to inspire, no heroic framing. Elba plays Augustin as someone hollowed out by trauma, restrained, guarded, and barely holding himself together. What makes Elba so effective here is containment. His grief isn't explosive, it's compressed. It leaks out in silence, in hesitation, in eyes that look exhausted by memory. You don't just watch Augustin suffer, you feel the weight he carries. Many actors would try to perform this level of tragedy. Idris Elba refuses to do that. He underplays every moment, trusting the audience to meet him where the pain lives. The power of his performance comes from what he withholds. Emotion restrained until it becomes unbearable. When anger surfaces, it's not theatrical, it's tired. When grief emerges, it's not dramatic. It's devastating because it feels lived in. Elba makes Augustin feel like someone who survived history and paid for it every day afterward.
Not all that.
Do you still love him?
Of course.
No Good Deed is a home invasion thriller built on a simple premise. A stranger shows up at the wrong house on the wrong night. And what begins as politeness slowly curdles into fear. The film doesn't overwhelm you with action. It tightens the space. It limits escape, and it lets tension breathe. And at the center of that tension is one performance controlling every room. Idris Elba plays Colin Evans, and what makes this performance terrifying is how deliberate it is. He doesn't rush, he doesn't explode, he doesn't perform violence, he suggests it. Elba uses eye contact like a weapon. He speaks softly, calmly, almost kindly. And that contrast is what makes the character so unsettling. You're never sure when the threat will become real. And that uncertainty is the point. This is not chaos. This is control. Many thrillers fail because their villains try too hard to scare you. Idris Elba does the opposite. He underplays every moment, trusting his presence to do the work. Colin Evans feels dangerous not because of what he does, but because of what he might do. Elba understands that fear lives in anticipation, not action. The restraint in his performance turns ordinary spaces, hallways, doorways, living rooms, into pressure chambers. Elba uses eye contact like a weapon. He speaks softly, calmly, almost kindly, and that contrast is what makes the character so unsettling. You're never sure when the threat will become real, and that uncertainty is the point. This is not chaos, this is control. In No Good Deed, Idris Elba proves the scariest villains don't shout. He waits, he watches. And by the time you realize you're in danger, it's already too late. He doesn't threaten, he waits. And that's what makes him deadly. Fear isn't loud, it's polite, it's patient. In No Good Deed, Idris Elba turns calm into a weapon, and once he's inside, there's no escape. Some action movies rely on explosions. Bastille Day relies on momentum, and one man driving it forward. Idris Elba doesn't play a superhero here. He plays something far more dangerous, a professional who knows exactly what he's doing and doesn't waste time explaining it. Bastille Day is a tight, urban action thriller set in Paris, where a simple pickpocketing incident spirals into a terrorist conspiracy. The film moves fast. Narrow streets, ticking clocks, constant pressure. It's not interested in spectacle for spectacle's sake. It's about pursuit, escalation, and control. And at the center of all of it is Idris Elba, locking the film into gear. Idris Elba plays Sean Breyer, a CIA agent who operates on instinct, experience, and zero patience for chaos. What makes this performance work isn't brute force, it's efficiency. Elba doesn't posture. He doesn't grandstand. Every movement feels intentional. Every decision feels informed by years of work we're never shown and don't need explained. His presence creates authority instantly. When he enters a scene, the movie tightens around him. You believe this man knows how to survive and how to end a threat. Many action leads try to sell intensity by being loud. Idris Elba does the opposite. He keeps Sean Breyer controlled, reactive, and grounded. The danger in his performance comes from restraint. He doesn't overplay anger. He doesn't chase bravado. He lets competence do the talking. That control turns chase scenes and confrontations into something sharper. Not chaos, but calculation. Bastille Day shows why Idris Elba is so effective in action roles when the movie trusts him to underplay. He doesn't need gimmicks. He doesn't need mythology. He needs structure and space to move. This performance proves that presence and credibility can carry a film just as effectively as explosions. You're not watching an action fantasy. You're watching a professional clean up a rapidly collapsing situation.
Taking the scary. I'm not taking no girls. Are you ready to fight? Yes, sir. Are you ready?
Don't entertain you. They disturb you. Beasts of No Nation is one of the most brutal war films of the last decade. And at the center of it is Idris Elba, delivering a performance so commanding it's almost impossible to shake. This isn't a villain you watch from a distance. This is a presence that pulls you in and refuses to let go. Beasts of No Nation follows a young boy forced into becoming a child soldier during a civil war in an unnamed African country. The film doesn't romanticize war. It doesn't soften the violence. It shows how innocence is stripped away, systematically, deliberately, and without mercy. And the person guiding that descent is Idris Elba's character. Idris Elba plays the Commandant, a warlord who recruits children and molds them into weapons. What makes this performance terrifying is its duality. Elba isn't loud all the time. He isn't constantly violent. He's charismatic. He's persuasive. He's calm, until he isn't. Elba uses his voice like a weapon. One moment, he's nurturing. The next, he's demanding loyalty through fear. You can see how children would follow him. And that understanding is what makes the character so disturbing. This isn't madness. This is manipulation. In a film filled with devastating imagery, Idris Elba somehow remains the most unsettling presence. He doesn't need screen time. He needs impact. When he appears, the film tightens. When he speaks, the air changes. This is acting that weaponizes restraint, ideology, and charisma, and it's unforgettable.
Have chosen to fight. Do you want me to betray our people?
Do I betray our people?
You have been away a long time.
What does that?
Some roles aren't about stealing scenes, they're about carrying history. Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. It asks one actor to embody decades of resistance, sacrifice, and transformation, and Idris Elba doesn't imitate a legend. He becomes one. This is not a performance built on volume. It's built on endurance. Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. It chronicles the life of Nelson Mandela, from revolutionary activist to political prisoner to global symbol of reconciliation. It spans decades of imprisonment, loss, and moral testing under apartheid South Africa. This isn't a single arc, it's a lifetime, and that makes the performance requirement brutal. The film only works if the lead can evolve without losing credibility. Idris Elba accepts that challenge and never blinks. Idris Elba plays Mandela across multiple eras. And what makes this performance extraordinary is control. He doesn't lean on speeches. He doesn't chase applause. He lets time do the work. Early in the film, Elba plays Mandela with fire, sharp, restless, and unyielding. As the years pass, that fire doesn't disappear, it hardens. You see it in his posture, in his silence, in the way patience replaces rage without erasing it. This is transformation without theatrics, and it's incredibly difficult to pull off. Many biopics fail because actors perform greatness instead of earning it. Idris Elba avoids that trap entirely. His Mandela doesn't feel mythic. He feels tired. He feels tested. He feels human. Elba understands that Mandela's power wasn't dominance, it was restraint. Choosing when not to react. Choosing when silence carried more weight than confrontation. That discipline is what gives the performance its authority. These 5 movies prove something important about Idris Elba. He doesn't rely on spectacle. He doesn't need constant dialogue. He understands that the most powerful performances come from restraint, presence, and control. Whether he's playing a revolutionary, a warlord, a protector, or a threat, Elba brings the same discipline to every role. And that's what makes these performances linger long after the credits roll. If you're looking for movies driven by acting, not noise, these are the ones worth your time. And if you want more breakdowns like this, spotlighting performances that actually matter, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.